Hello everyone. So in today's lecture, we are going to cover how to delete a node in double linked list. So I have already prepared a linked list and this is how it looks. So here I have created three nodes, A node, B node and C node. And you can see A node is pointing to B node. Since A node does not have any node previous to it, it contains null. Okay, now B node previous is pointing to A. B node next is pointing to C. Okay, this C node is previous is pointing to B, and since C node does not have any node after it, it is pointing to null. So this is how this linked list looks like. Okay, so now we are going to learn how to delete a node in the beginning first. Okay, so if we want to delete a node in the beginning, that means this A node should not be there anymore. That's what we want, right? That this A node should not be there anymore. Now there is self dot head, right? There is self dot head. What is self dot head? It is the entry point, if you remember. This is the entry point of our linked list. Of any linked list, there is a head which is the entry point in our linked list. Currently, what this self dot head contains? It contains the address of A. What is the address of A? Which is 100, right? So currently our self dot head contains 100. Now, if we want to delete the node in our linked list, the first node in our linked list, how shall we do that? What if my self.head contains, instead of 100, it stores 101? That means my linked list starts from B. Instead of A, my linked list is starting from B. So there is no reference of A and my linked list is starting from B. Now, if any time I call self.head, my linked list will start from the second node and there will be no reference of a node anywhere. So that's how we are going to delete a node. Okay, so what are we going to do? Our first step will be to point self.head to A's next. So now self.head, whatever self.head contained, what we are doing is self.head. Now we are pointing it to a dot next. We are replacing the value. Okay. Now self.head, we are replacing the value with a dot next means this next, right? So now instead of 100, it is going to store 101. So now the entry point has become B, not A but B. Also, we want to remove any reference of A. Okay, so what will be our next step? This B previous should be also pointing to null now. Why? Because now there is no other node before B, right? So there is no other node before B. So that is why instead of 100, we will remove this 100. Now this will contain null. Okay, so now you see what I did. What I did was self.head. I changed the entry point. Okay, firstly I changed the entry point. So now in the entry point, instead of A, my self.head is now pointing to the second node. Okay, now this has become my first node. Okay, and in the previous data which contained the reference of the previous node, I removed it and I did null. So yes, I know there might be one question like, are we going to actually delete that node? No, we are not going to delete that node, but what we are doing is we are breaking its link from our linked list. Now there is no reference of that node in our linked list. Okay, now whenever I call my linked list, that a node will be never called. Why? Because I have removed it from everywhere. I have removed it from self.head and also from B's previous. Now there is no reference of node A. Okay, now this is how we are going to delete a node in the beginning. Got it? Now this is done. Now let's come how to delete a node at the end. Okay, now just let's make it clear and like previous. Okay, done. Now how to delete a node at the end. This is what we are going to learn now. Now my pointer, that means at the end means I want this C node to be deleted. I don't want any reference of node C in my linked list. It's very simple, very, very simple. What we will do is this B node is pointing to C node, yes or no? What I will do is I will bring my pointer here. When my pointer is here at this B node, what I will do simply is B dot next, which is storing the reference of C, I will simply make it point to null. Now, instead of this 102, it is going to store null, right? Now, whenever my linked list is called, A will be called, then A will be pointing to B. Now, B, since it is pointing to null, C will be never called. C will be never called, right? So, this is how I am going to delete node C at the end. So, if I want to delete any node, at the end, what I will do is I will go to the second last node and I will make the second last node next point to null, and that's how we can delete a node at the end. Okay, now coming to how to delete a node by value. Okay, how to delete a node by value. Now let's say we have learned how to delete a node at the beginning, at the end. Now let's try to delete a node by value. Now let's say I want to delete node B. Okay, I want to delete node B. That means after deletion, so currently how my node looks like, A is pointing to B, B is pointing to C, but after deletion, I want to delete B. So after deletion, what will my linked list look like? My linked list should look like A should be pointing to C. Right, that's how my linked list should look after deleting B. Right, that means I want to point A to C and C to A. Right, there should be no reference of node B in my linked list, right? So, how to do that? My pointer should be pointing to my pointer should be pointing to a node at this point. Okay, my pointer should be pointing to a node. Okay, now currently I can see that a node is pointing to B. That means my a next contains reference address of B node. But what do I want? That A next should be pointing to C. C's address, right? So what I can write is, what I want is, instead of this 101, it should contain C's address, right? It should contain C's address. So what I can write is, and how can I do that? How can I do that? How will I write that? A is next should be pointing to C. I'll write B dot next here. That means A next will be replaced by B next. And what does B next contains here? B's next contain 102. And what is 102? 102 is C's address, right? So A next will be replaced by B's next, which is 102. Okay, so now I can see that A is pointing to C. One point is done, right? Now A is pointing to C. Correct. But C's previous is still pointing to B. No. But what we want, A pointing to C and C's also pointing to A. That also we want, right? Now, at this point, what shall we do? We want C's previous to be pointing to B previous, right? So you see, what did we do? What we do is A's next now is pointing to B's next, which is C. C's C's previous is now pointing to B's previous, which is 100, right? So now what we did, now if I draw a fresh linked list, now this is how it looks. This is A does not have any node before it, so it contains null. The previous box contains null. The next box contains reference of C, which is 102. Okay, this is C. C does not have any node after it. That's why the next box contains null. Now C's previous will contain the reference of A, which is 100. You see, so what happened now? A is pointing to C. C is pointing to A. And how did we do that? A next we replaced it with B's next. Now C's previous, we replaced it with B's previous. Okay. So this is how we deleted a node by value. Okay. We deleted a node by at any point in the linked list. Okay. So now this was just the explanation. You will get all your doubts clear once we do it in a program. Okay. So let's see you in my next video. If you like it, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.